Imagine this. You're exhausted, burned out, and yet you say yes again. Yes to helping your friend when you're drowning. Yes to extra work when you're barely holding on. Yes to staying silent when your boundaries are crossed. Why? Because deep down, you fear that one no might make someone stop liking you. Welcome to the disease to please, a psychological trap that's destroying more lives than you think. People-pleasing is not just a bad habit, it's a learned survival strategy. You were never born to please. You were born authentic. But somewhere along the way, you learned that being accepted, being loved, meant being agreeable. Maybe your parents only showed affection when you obeyed. Maybe school taught you to never talk back. Or maybe love in your early life was conditional. Be who we want you to be, or we withdraw. Over time, you internalized one toxic belief: I'm only lovable when I make others happy. It sounds harmless, but this belief grows into a life of self-abandonment. You become the go-to person, the yes person, the fixer. And while the world applauds your kindness, inside, you're breaking. Harriet Braiker identifies people-pleasing as a form of emotional addiction. Just like any addiction, it feels good in the short term. You feel validated, safe, useful, but over time, it turns toxic. Here's why. The people-pleasing cycle. You anticipate someone's needs. You fulfill them, ignoring your own. You feel anxious if you don't get appreciation or approval. You overcompensate again. You're stuck, not because you're weak, but because your self-worth is externally managed. In his term, people-pleasers are approval addicts. And like any addict, the high fades. So you chase more approval. You become agreeable even when it hurts. You smile when you want to scream. You comply when you want to walk away. Let's talk reality, not theory. Sarah, the quiet achiever. Sarah is a 29-year-old teacher. She never says no, stays late to help others, covers for co-workers, even bakes cupcakes for school events. Everyone loves her, but at home, she's falling apart. No time for her workouts. Her sleep is wrecked. Her relationships are strained. She has zero energy for herself. One day she gets sick, badly. Doctor says, you're not physically ill, you're mentally burnt out. Why? Because pleasing everyone has drained every part of her. Amir, a corporate professional, agrees with every team decision. He never challenges toxic behavior. He laughs at jokes that offend him. Why? Because conflict makes him anxious. He's scared to be seen as difficult. He'd rather be fake than be rejected. But over time, he starts to hate himself. He feels invisible, unheard, like a ghost in his own life. Braiker calls this self-silencing. And the longer you silence yourself, the louder your inner resentment grows. Why do you people please? One word: fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough, fear of abandonment. Beneath every yes is a fear that saying no will cost you love. This comes from what Braiker calls conditional self-worth. You don't see your worth as intrinsic. You only feel valuable when others approve of you. But here's the truth. You don't lose people by saying no. You lose yourself by always saying yes. You weren't put on this earth to be liked. You were put here to be real. He outlines key symptoms of chronic people-pleasing: saying yes when you want to say no, apologizing excessively, even when it's not your fault, avoiding conflict at all costs, feeling guilty for taking time for yourself, constantly worrying about what others think, feeling resentful even when doing something nice. If any of these hit you like a punch to the gut, you're not alone, but you are stuck in a self-destructive loop. Pleasing others doesn't make you noble. It makes you disappear. The more you fake peace, the more inner war you start. Emotional costs: anxiety, burnout, depression, low self-esteem, identity loss. Braiker calls it the burnout of being good. And here's the twist. The people you're trying to please, they never notice the pain you're hiding because you've trained them to see your compliance as kindness. But kindness without boundaries is self-destruction. Freedom begins with one word: no. But Braiker teaches us that before we can say no to others, we must say yes to ourselves. Step 1. Reclaim your right to disagree. You're allowed to have your own needs. You're allowed to disappoint people. The world won't end. Step 2. Practice delayed. Yes, say, let me think about it. This gives you space to decide without pressure. Step 3. Speak without guilt. No is a complete sentence. You don't owe people an explanation for your boundaries. Step 4. Challenge approval. Myths. Write this down. I am still worthy even if someone is upset with me. People's emotions are not your responsibility. Your truth is, being real will cost you some friends. It will make some people uncomfortable. You may lose fake peace, but what you gain? Your voice, your self-respect, your inner calm, your authenticity. And when you stop betraying yourself to keep others comfortable, that's when healing begins. You don't owe anyone a version of yourself that feels like a lie. Start slow. Say no. Take space. Speak truth. Pleasing others is not love. Pleasing others is not peace. It's just a cage painted with compliments. So today, break out. Not to be rude, not to be selfish, but to finally be you.